Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Hello, how are you all? Today, Kilt-Man is sporting a rather unusual little ensemble. We have the Spirit of Scotland, luxurious tartan, beautiful, and I've thrown it together with vintage British Desert DPM. I think it kind of goes quite well. Kind of fetching, yeah? I don't know. Kilt-Man, if nothing else, is a master of fashion, an icon, an inspiration. My artistic flair knows no bounds. Anyway, we're not here to talk about fashion and the catwalk. No. We're here to talk about Suspiria 2018. Yes, this is the Luca Guadagnino's remake, reimagining, homage to Dario Argento's absolute classic, seminal occult masterpiece from 1977, Suspiria. Inarguably Argento's highest point in his career, and a film that is now in every film critic's top 10. Certainly, it's an absolute class of style in a world of its own, a league apart from any other horror movie. Inevitably, it was going to get remade, some would say. Now, as I said in the previous video, I was hoping that this film would go in a different direction, because I just don't see the point of a shot-for-shot remake. Unless you're going to bring something new to the banquet, what's the point? And Guadagnino certainly brings a lot new. In fact, there's only a very tenuous sort of connection between this film and the original. Basically, the original film was made in 1977. This film is set in 1977 in Germany. That's a huge point, huge big plot point, which we'll come on to. American dance student Susie Bannion, originally played by Jessica Harper, now played by, what's her name, Dakota Johnson, comes to this esteemed dance academy because she wants to join them, and she passes her fantastic audition and blows them all away with her powers, her athletic, provocative dance abilities, and joins the troupe. Of course, this troupe, this dance academy, is actually run by a coven of witches. Yeah, and that's all from the original movie. Coven of witches that are fractured, are split. There's quite a few of them in their hierarchy. They are lorded over by Elena Marcos, who is, well, in the original movie, she is Mother Suspiriorum, i.e. Suspiria. And there's three mothers, of course. Argento did finish the trilogy off. His second film in the trilogy was Inferno, which had Mother Tenebratum, and she was the Mother of Darkness. Mother Suspiriorum is the Mother of Sighs. And then finally, you had Mother Lacrimosa, I think that's right. I normally get that wrong. Lacrimosa, I think, and she's the Mother of Tears. They're all very powerful, all have different traits, but we're dealing with Mother Suspiriorum. And Elena Marcos, it's the Marcos School of Dance, but it's also known as the Tanz Academy. Tanz Academy actually means Dance Academy, so people get a bit confused over this. It's well, is it called the Marcos Dance Academy or the Tanz Academy? Well, it's the Marcos Tanz Academy. That's kind of what it is. So she joins this esteemed dancing troupe, and they have a particular dance in mind called the Volk. And this Volk is, well, it transpires to be a ritual, a rebirth. By reenacting this dance, learning this dance, and inhabiting the character of this dance, you will bring about, well, something. Because even though I've watched it now, I still don't know quite what they intended to bring about. Was it the rebirth of Mother Suspiriorum? Because that is what actually happens, but they don't think they knew that was going to happen. But you're told something's coming, you know, and with this dance, you're going to open the doorway for it. So Dakota Johnson as Susie Bannion becomes fantastic at this, and Tilda Swinton, who plays Madame Blanc, who is the main dance tutor, she takes her under her wing, and there's a weird sort of queer relationship going on there. But you're in no uncertain terms. This film, unlike the original film, pretty much lays it bare right from the word go that these are witches. But you're never sure what their motives are. Certainly some girls who stumble onto the truth will suffer unpleasant consequences. In the original film, they'd be slain. They're not necessarily slain in this because they are just disfigured and mutilated in a very, well, what's going to become a notorious sequence. Olga, who was the main dancer of the Volk, storms out because she already knows there's something else is going on and she wants nothing more to do with it. So they have Susie reenact the Volk because she's seen them perform it. She's seen it numerous times, so she knows how to do it. And in so doing, poor old Olga can't leave the building. She gets shanghaied into the room of mirrors, which is a dance room with mirrors all the way around it. And whilst Susie is dancing in one room, and all these wild gyrations and punches and body contorting, athletic sort of prowess and dexterity, whatever she does has an impact upon poor Olga. So if Susie's arm flies out like that, Olga will get a punch in the other room, and her body is destroyed. Her arm ends up twisted around there, her jaw cracks out of place, her stomach and chest are imploded, one of her legs flies over the back of her head, and she's held around this place. And it's a shocking sequence, certainly. Susie begins to work out that there's a lot more to this place, but there's a lot more to Susie than meets the eye. We find she's a Mennonite from Ohio. We see flashbacks to her mother dying. And this is a film about mothers, about the stronger mother. Is the theme of mother of life, or is it of death? In the original trilogy, the original Argento movies, the three mothers combined were death. That's basically what they were. And it's very simplistic. Now, this film, as I say, it's set in 1977, which in Germany, in Berlin, the Berlin Wall was still up. This was the German autumn. You had the Baader-Meinoff gang, Red Army faction. You had kidnappings and bombings. You had hostages aboard the Lufthansa aircraft. You had slayings aplenty. This is the backdrop to Luca Guadagnino's version of Suspiria. And therein lies one of its inherent problems, because this is a long film. And you have this huge offshoot of the terrorism taking place in Germany. At one point, Mia Goth, who is, I've forgotten her name in the film. Oops. What is it? It doesn't matter. Anyway, Sarah. She opens a window and she goes, "It smells like a bomb." I know what they smell like. So you've got this sort of atmosphere of distrust, paranoia and danger on the streets of Berlin. Now, is that meant to be a metaphor for the fractious quality of the witch coven? Because they're voting as to who they want to be in charge, and the certain sides are taking place, forming up. And there's a lot of witches, there's a lot of these people in this coven. It's all female, you know. You've got one cast member who's, it's a male character, but it's played by Tilda Swinton. Now, I know we did discuss this before, and a lot of you already know this. She plays three characters, but she plays Dr. Kemperer, who is missing his wife, Anka, who you will see in a cameo appearance by the great Jessica Harper, yes, who played Susie in the original movie. But he is a psychotherapist who is dealing with one of the girls from the school, which is Chloe Grace Moretz, who plays Pat Hingle. Always makes me laugh. Pat Hingle is also the name of the character in the original movie. But Pat Hingle was a great American character actor. And he was the mayor. No, he wasn't. He was the police commissioner in Tim Burton's Batman. But you got Pat Hingle, which is a girl in this. She comes to see this professor, this Dr. Kemperer, and to say that she's got fears about the dance academy. Now, his wife went missing many, many years before, and it's destroyed him. He's been trying to track her down, trying to piece all the clues together, but it's somehow linked to the Dance Academy, because I think she was investigating weirdness there as well. So you've got this, and this is a huge element of this film, is Dr. Kemperer and his investigations into the Dance Academy. And he will meet with various different students from there and learn more about it. He's almost like the audience. He will learn things as we learn things. But, so you've got this sideline, and you have this whole terrorism angle, ultra left-wing terrorism. It's a strange concept, ultra left-wing, but they use violent acts to get their ends across. And that plays a huge part. So it has no real bearing on the story at all. this terrorism angle. It's just happening around. Is that sort of saying that the witches have an impact on the outside world, and that their dissension and fracturing in amongst their own ranks is affecting outside society as well? I don't know. Or is it vice versa? Is the outside world having and its fractious nature and societal collapse having an impact on their own sort of matriarchal society? Well, it's not made clear. Likewise, this Dr. Kemperer, huge side story, is absolutely unnecessary to the telling of this tale. Guadagnino has took the essence of Argento's Suspiria, which was like a simple, boiled down excuse for picturesque and elegant butchery and huge satanic overtones and a lurid, gothic, flamboyant, kaleidoscopic sort of landscape. But he doesn't do any of that, because whereas Argento's film was gaudy Technicolor, Argento tracked down the last bits of a Kodak film which had been used on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs for Disney. He found the same film elements and used them to film his movie. So it has a very strong affinity with the fairy tale quality of Disney. This film doesn't do that. This film strips it all back. It's laid bare, it's earthy, brown, it's grey. Berlin, it's pissing down constantly outside. It's just constant sheets of rain. And if you don't get rain, you're getting snow. So it's a very grim, bleak sort of landscape that we're inhabiting here. That's fine. To try to recapture what Argento did visually would be an impossibility, and it would smack of just cheap copying. So he had to go a different route. The film is still very visually excessive and stylish. His camera work is wonderful. He has lots of it, sort of from the era, from the 1970s. A lot of Euro cinema had crash zooms and great sort of compositions of someone talking way in the background while the face would be here in the foreground. And he does all this. The camera will spin round and pick out a random person in the background. It does lots of crazy things like that. But I say crazy, but in an understated and subtle, sort of discreet manner. Whereas Argento's film screamed style and excess, this does it in a far more relaxed and measured way. So it doesn't look like the original film, nor does it sound like the original film, where Goldblum did the fantastic, frenzied, hellish score to Argento's movie. Now Radiohead's Thom Yorke provides a wonderfully atmospheric, moody and sort of dreamscape soundtrack, which is playing right now as we speak. And it's a different kettle of fish, it's a different beast entirely. But so you have this terrorism angle which doesn't really fit in, or does it? You be the judge. And you have this Dr. Kemperer thing, which again is a huge element of this story, and yet it's not actually necessary. You don't need it. Now I know I touched upon the fact that a lot of people always said the makeup for Tilda Swinton playing Dr. Kemperer was appalling, and in photos and just imagery I thought the same. Watching it, I did not think it was out of place at all. I thought she did a really good job as this character. It's kind of strange that why did they use it? Why not just use an old man to play the part? Or was it a case that she just simply was the best actor for the role? Because she's very good. And the makeup, I thought, was superb. This is a film where there's some shockingly bad effects in it. The finale, which we'll get onto. But some of the gore effects and prosthetics, the bending, contorting body is really well done. Because you've got the real actress there, and you're like, how the hell have they done that? Where have her legs gone? And there's fake arms and fake legs twisted around it, but that doesn't. Where's the real arms and legs gone? Very, very clever. And there's a fair bit of bloodletting too. The Coven use in their ritualistic excesses, use these rather horrible hooks, very thin, sort of, like fisherman's hooks, and they will hook bodies and drag them off. There's catacombs beneath this academy. Like the first film, Sarah will go on that's the Mia Goth character, will go on an odyssey. She'll hear footsteps and she'll work out that there's corridors behind the walls, and she will find her way into them, and she will uncover some more secrets. And she'll find some of these poor girls who've now become deformed wretches lurking in the bowels of this academy. So what's the end result? What are they trying to do? This dance, the Volk, it culminates in this dance, this ritualistic dance where all the girls, and there's a lot of nudity involved in this. They're all naked. Even the delectable Dakota Johnson just wears a see-through, but very see-through, sort of gown, and she will arrive in the basement of this, academy where the big ritual is taking place. You will meet Elena Marcos, who is also played by Tilda Swinton. Well, you fucking won't recognise it in that bit because she's this grotesque sort of Jabba the Hutt thing crossed with a Cenobite with big sunglasses on. So it's like Cenobite, Roy Orbison, Jabba the Hutt. It's a very strange thing. And if you look at it, its body is made up of like lots of other bodies. It's nude, it's sitting there giggling and cackling. It's got little baby hands attached to its arm, which are wriggling away. What the hell is that about? It is disturbing imagery, it is. But Susie has discovered, and we have kind of worked it out, that she genuinely is Mother Suspiriorum herself. So she will invoke death, almost like the angel of death, will ascend the stairs from an even lower portal of this ritual chamber, which will then go on a kill crazy rampage, which kind of makes no sense. Heads erupt in fountains of gore, but the whole screen is tinted red during this sequence, so it kind of lessens the effect. Poor old Tilda Swinton again, as Madame Blanc, will receive an invisible sort of axe blow to the back of her neck, and her head will loll forward, but it won't come off, and it'll be spraying gore everywhere. And it's a tremendously vigorous and bravura finale, but it's also not in the least bit scary, not in the least bit suspenseful. You really don't know what the hell is going on. The Elena Marcos will be destroyed. The ritual will go ahead even though Madame Blanc's tried to call it off because she realises that Susie is more than what she ever appeared, that this ritual is wrong, something's wrong here. Susie will carry on regardless and lay waste to everybody except most of the dancers. Her former friends, she will literally go up to them, these are all deformed, and she'll just say, they're basically the living dead. And she'll just say, basically, what you want, and like, death. So she will gently absorb the life from them and put their bodies on the deck. And then the film, Dr. Kemper is there, by the way. He's been lured into the academy with a sort of fake spirit, what would you call it? A glamour. When the witches used to evoke spirits and illusions, they were called glamours. And the glamour of his former wife, his lost wife, appears to him, and they have a very touching sequence. Again, it's starkly out of place with what's happening in the film, but she will lead him to the academy, whereupon she'll disappear, and the witches will come out cackling and grab him, bring him in, strip him off, and he has to witness what's happening here. That's never really made clear, or is it? Did I miss it? Why does he have to be there to witness all this? I don't get that. But in the end, he will be led out by some of the surviving witches who just sing to him and let him go. But Susie, as Mother Suspiriorum, will come to him and visit him in his bed, in his apartment across the city, and on the other side of the wall, I think he is, on the eastern side. And she will tell him the real story of what happened to his wife, to give him that sort of peace of mind. And then she takes all the memory from him. Go figure. And she goes back to the academy, and she has now seemingly taken over the academy. She's now in charge of it. She is Mother Suspiriorum, and she's going to take forth this coven of witches. Now, for good means or foul, we don't know. That's the washing machine churning round in the background. I always time these videos superbly, don't I? I forgot it was on, actually. And you don't know if she's good or bad because she's not done anything particularly bad. She's relieved the suffering of some of the girls who were deformed and, tortured and abused. And she's given peace of mind back to this doctor. And then she's taken over, the premises and the running of the academy with so many other witches who have survived. But you're never sure whose side they're on. And also, Madame Blanc, Tilda Swinton again, the chain-smoking Madame Blanc, isn't dead because one of the witches goes down to find him and she's slumped over with this massive, her head's hanging off, and she just puts the head back on and she's clearly still alive. So And then there's no resolution to that. So I know Guadagnino thinks he wanted to get a trilogy out of this, a bit like Argento did. So is she going to be rebuilt? Is she going to be reborn? Are the witches going to use their magic to bring her back to life properly, fully formed? Who knows? Will there be a power struggle between her and Susie? You don't know. The word pretentious is flung at this movie, and I can see why. It's a wallowing in overindulgence, and Guadagnino's vision is skewed in many different directions, and I don't think he achieves. It doesn't gel. For a horror film, it is not scary at all. It's full of disturbing imagery. The theme of dance being a ritualistic device is brilliant. I do like that. And whereas Argento never discussed dance, you barely ever saw any dancing in his film, this is all about the dance, all about it. And I like that aspect to it. But I don't like the use of the terrorism around Berlin and Germany, because it doesn't have any bearing. I mean, if it did have a bearing on it, I'd be happy with it. That's the washing machine having finished. And the whole Dr. Kemperer thing, well, it's a great showcase for Tilda Swinton's performance. I know some people don't like the lip smacking and the tongue clicking that she does as a character trait. I didn't mind it at all. But I just don't think it's necessary. You could take an hour out of this film and streamline it down to its basic core essence of American girl goes into a dance academy, discovers a coven of witches, leads a revolt against these witches, and in this case assumes her real identity as and there's the twist, as the real Mother Suspiriorum, but turns the academy into something that's a power for good, maybe. But as it stands, you don't know what her intentions are. You haven't got a clue. And in a very Marvel-esque sort of way, there's even a post-credit sequence, but it's ambiguous as all hell. See, it's just basically, it's Susie walks up to the camera and just does this sort of sign, and then turns away and off she goes. What'd that mean? Is she marking us? Are we now? Or, are we human? Or are we dancers? What is going on? What is the point of this film? It's a long film, it's grim, it's bleak, it's not hallucinogenic, but it's semi-surreal. People always say that Dario Argento's original film was surreal. It's not surreal at all, it's hyper-real. If anything, it's hyper-realistic. It's not surrealistic at all. This film is surrealistic in its imagery and its thematic juxtapositions, the way it juggles the context of the dance and the ritual, of the search, the hunt, the twisted values of motherhood. This is a film that deals with feminism, but it deals with it. It's a man that's made it, so it doesn't smack true. I don't think this will. Women will back this film and say, "Oh, clever, and we know what he was doing there. He was telling our story." No, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's just attempted to use that theme as an overall sort of directive, and I don't think it really goes anywhere. It doesn't score any points. But it is a staunchly female movie, obviously. It needs to be, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. The original was nearly practically all female as well. In fact, in this film, you have a sequence where there's two cops who come in to investigate under Dr. Kemperer's sort of, he's asked them to go and have a look. And you see them welcomed in, out of the rain, into this academy by what we know are witches. And then, you don't see them for a while. But Sarah, the Mia Goth character, and Susie, Dakota Johnson, go on a little search to find out details about the missing Pat Hingle, clever Grace Moretz. They're trying to find, so they break into the office and they're going through all the files and they can't find anything on her at all. But Susie goes for a little wander and she goes through a back room, and then she discovers that the two cops have been sort of hypnotised in the back of this room, and that they're nude, and the witches are pointing at their little frozen willies and laughing at the size of them. And you're thinking, what the hell? What are they going to do here? Well, in that, they don't do anything. It's basically just female empowerment. They've brought these guys in, they've blanked their minds, Men in Black style, and they're having a bit of fun with them. But they're going to let them go, and these guys are going to go off and, basically not pursue the investigation any further. So this is how the witches' power, how they exist throughout the centuries, because it is a centuries-old coven. And they're clearly drawing strength off these young girls, the dancers, to keep themselves, alive. They're not young, most of these women. And they're a queer bunch, because you're never certain who's on whose side. They're always laughing and joking. They go out for regular meals at this restaurant, and usually it's just, the witches, the dancing instructors, the tutors, and they'll have a big laugh and joke around the table, and then they will bring the girls in for like a sort of final night, and everyone's laughing and joking, but they kind of, it turns a bit weird towards the end of that sequence. You can see some of these older women are touching the younger ones and like sort of leaning in as if they're going to, kiss them, and the girls are sort of realising, hang on a minute, there's something going on here. But at either end of this long table, you've got Madame Blanc, Tilda Swinton, at the other end, smoking as usual, and she's just staring directly down to the other end of the table, where Susie's sitting there, and Susie hasn't eaten, her plate is just empty, and she's just sitting there, and she's staring back at Madame Blanc, and you're not really sure why. Is it a power struggle? Are they both realising, oh, I'm now, if not as strong as you, I'm stronger than you, and Tilda Swinton's character is beginning to realise, you're a force to be reckoned with here. I don't think I can control you anymore. Or is she thinking, you're my best protege? Don't know. It's an impeccably crafted movie. There's no getting around that. But it's an hour too long. And as a horror film, it does not deliver the goods. There's gore in it, yeah. There's a big blood-curdlingly weird crescendo of a finale. But you'll be hard-pressed to work out why it's happening, what it all means, and do you really care? And that's the biggest downfall of this film. You sit through 2.5 hours of this, especially if you're a fan of the original and you love fantastic filmmaking. And I was trying to find things to, pardon the expression, hook into. And there were some things I liked, but they didn't go anywhere. There was no resolution to this which I felt was gratifying or satisfying. I didn't know what the point of it was. Is it a love letter to the original? No, not even that. It pays huge amount of homage to it, of course. And it will come as no surprise to you that Dario Argento himself did not like this remake. After initially bigging it up and really, singing its praises, he then watched it and said, no, I don't like it at all. No, I've got no idea what this film was about. I don't like it. It shouldn't have been made. On the flip side of that, Jessica Harper, the lovely Jessica Harper, who, as I said before, in the original film is a dead ringer for my wife, and I will always adore her for that. She loved the movie, loved it. And I know all the girls involved in it sing its praises. And he's definitely an acclaimed director, but horror is not his genre. Horror is not his thing at all, because this is just not. This is an art house horror film. Well, it's an art house mood piece, but with supernatural elements to it. I know. What am I saying? What does that really mean? You'd have to watch it and find out. So, I wish I could be more positive about this film. It's a film that stays in your mind, but maybe not for the right reasons. I'm glad I've got it. There's no way on earth I was ever not going to get this film. Will I watch it again? Yeah, you bet your ass I'll watch it again. But will I watch it all? Will I whiz through all the bits of terrorism? And by the way, the terrorism is just stuff that gets mentioned, and you hear it on TV broadcasts and radio broadcasts. So you don't go expecting any sort of carnage. You think you see a riot on the streets and a Molotov cocktail gets through, or something like that. But it's nothing, really. And the whole Dr. Kemperer, well, that's great if you just want to sit back and watch Tilda Swinton nailing a great performance. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. But what does it actually mean? At the end of the day, absolutely nothing. So, I'll let my tea go cold. Oh, I have as well. Suspiria 2018. I wanted to give it that. I can't. I'm going to give it that. It's cockeyed. It isn't that. It isn't that. But it's that. And it's kind of like that. Which means, yeah, it's got some value to it. And it did keep my attention for about, the entire time. It did, even though I was thinking, is this necessary? Because you're thinking everything's going to tie up. You think everything's going to dovetail together. And sadly, it doesn't. So it's an experience, certainly. I think if you're a dancer, you'll enjoy it. Anyway, folks. Suspiria. Suspiria? Mother Suspiriatum. Suspiria. Make up your own minds. Because I really can't advise you either way on this. It is a Marmite movie. Gonna love it, gonna loathe it. The thing is, I enjoyed it, but I can't give a definitive sort of verdict. Weird that, isn't it? I'm under its spell. Maybe a woman should have directed this film. That would have been interesting, yeah? A woman's perspective on it. Anyway, folks, I'm gonna leave it there. Sadly, I can't be more conclusive than this. But anyway, enjoy yourselves, watch out for witches, and keep on dancing. I'm going to see you all later. Suspiria.